Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my speech on my oral defense to my research paper, Radical Islamic / Arab / Other Cybercrimes and the Solutions. Tonight's event is hosted by Bellevue University's International Security and Intelligence Studies Director, Dr. Matthew Croston. And again, thank you all for being here tonight. The focus of my speech is on radical Islamic groups, Arab groups, and other non-state cyber criminals, and how they affected our cyber domain. Conflicts have changed people and evolved. We went from large-scale wars such as the World War into unconventional warfare like the asymmetrical or guerrilla warfare, insurgency, and terrorism. And today, we also have what we call the cyber warfare, which is used frequently by radical Islamic groups to declare cyber jihad, aka e-jihad, to terrorize Israeli citizens and the Israeli government. And most recently, hacking is Islamic State's or the IS's new playbook option because of what they did to various websites by defacing those websites with IS banners. And according to senior Israeli cybersecurity expert, there are many Arab groups and radical Islamic cybercriminal groups that have begun to target electric and nuclear power plants around the world. Quote, as well as other critical infrastructure sites in increasingly audacious attacks, end quote. Colonel retired Dr. Gabby Sabani also said that the hacking of Sony Pictures, Target, and Home Depot, quote, is the least of the world's worry, end quote, because when critical infrastructure such as air traffic control towers and flight systems are risk being hacked by radical Islamic cyber attacks, the cyber criminals could easily, quote, cause incidents to the plant, or, quote, paralyze the entire flight system, end quote. Sabani also strongly believed that if there is to be another catastrophic event as large-scale as the 9/11 attack, it will be carried out, quote, without suicide bomber or blow the plant with box cutter. Instead, it will occur because of cyber incident penetrated by a terror organization, end quote. With critical vulnerability in our important infrastructures, it is important to identify, assess, and profile as many notorious Arab cybercriminals, radical Islamic cybercriminals, or other non-state cybercriminals that's out there at large. We also need to research about other cyber attacks that occurred in the past, because all of these Arab cybercriminal groups and/or radical Islamic cybercriminal groups are potentially dangerous to our country and society, because their cyber attacks could easily disrupt U.S. critical infrastructure networks and causing human casualties to skyrocket. At this time, it hasn't happened fortunately. Also, trillions of dollars could be lost in financial assets, leaks of every government's top secret military intelligence information, and sensitive diplomatic communications to everyone, which made the IS cyber attack on Twitter pale next to the actual potential dangers of cyber attacks that I mentioned earlier. And some of the cyber attacks had already taken place, folks. There is a group called Desert Falcon that operates in Palestine, Egypt, and Turkey, and is said to, quote, have developed and deployed their wares exclusively in the Middle East, end quote. The group uses, quote, homemade malware tools, social engineering, and other techniques to execute and conceal campaigns on traditional and mobile operating systems, end quote. Desert Falcon's malware are designed to steal sensitive information from the victims, and the groups will then use these sensitive information to, quote, fuel further operation, end quote, and also to extort the target victims for financial, intelligence, or military leverages. My research indicates that the victims of Desert Falcons are mostly senior leaders that hold high positions in important organizations, guys. Quote, more than 1 million files were stolen from victims. The stolen files include diplomatic communications from embassies, military plans and documents, financial documents, VIP and media contact lists, and files, end quote. And so far, there are more than 3,000 victims from more than 50 different countries around the world in Palestine, Egypt, Israel, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, the US, South Korea, Morocco, and Qatar, thanks to Desert Falcon's cyber attacks. The group was formed in 2011 and began its attack in 2013, and they became notorious at the beginning of 2015. I don't know if Desert Falcons are committing cyber crimes out of religious motive or political motives, but they're still out there terrorizing people, and they're not caught. Let's move on to the next groups that I'm going to talk about. And the first one goes by the name of Group XP, and they're known for gaining access to 400,000 Israeli credit card accounts in 2012. And they disclosed it. They disclosed it on random websites for anyone to see. Imagine if that was your credit card information, and I'm sure you'll be panicking. Also, XP is also known for, quote, paralyze the websites of Israel's stock exchange and national airline, end quote. Fortunately, neither sites contain critical information that's important in terms of trading or airline flights, so the cyber attacks didn't do too much. But the attacks just to show, quote, how vulnerable Israel is to cyber warfare despite its sophisticated computer security units in the military and advanced high-tech sector, end quote. The next group, with name I don't know because we never find out who they are, terrorized business people from Iran and Israel that are working on Iranian and Israeli critical infrastructure projects or working for Israeli financial institutions. Security experts believe that the attacks are religiously motivated due to evidence which suggests that the attackers use a folder with the name Campaign Mahdi. Quote, as they developed the software to run the project, end quote. Thanks to Campaign Mahdi, there were multiple gigabytes of critical/sensitive data uploaded from victims' computer. And like I said, those groups are also not caught. My research also shows that the next Al-Qaeda's attack are most likely going to be cyber attacks on our critical infrastructures, following suit of cyber attack against Iranian nuclear power plant. There are also threats of other non-state actors with financial motives on daily basis. And it's happening to people losing money all the time, folks. And the FBI had put out the cyber most wanted list that shows 10 world's most wanted cyber criminals because they use their hacking skills, malwares, worms, loot kits, and other cyber attack tactics to steal millions of dollars from their victims. There are also cyber criminal groups with malicious political motives that uses rootkits to steal millions of files from unclassified Japanese Department of Defense and other U.S. agency computers. The files may not be top secret. Cumulatively, it could have provided a lot of valuable intelligence. There are also Russian cyber criminal groups that effectively use malwares and rootkits to steal millions from the bank and cutting money out of people like you and me, folks. And like I said before, none of the cyber criminal groups are caught by the authority yet. Why? Well, currently the U.S. and the whole world does not have effective cyber deterrence policy that help the authority to capture cyber criminals. Domestically, we have the 18 United States codes, USC 1030, which only covers the punishment for what happened if the cyber criminals are caught. But overall, there are no cybersecurity programs or policy that oversees the civilian internet network as a whole. Military is a different story because it's a military network. And imagine the cyber domain literally as our information highway, because it is information highway, and everyone driving it or using it does not have a license plate. There are also no road cameras that capture the moment the accident that happened on the information highway. And the criminals, cyber drivers that on the information highway, imagine they don't have the license plate and their driver's license. And we need to stop that, folks, because cyber criminals are getting away with the damage they're done financially and politically or religiously while they're not getting caught. And one day, it's going to be our critical infrastructure that will be affected. And all because we don't have ways to identify them and to hold them accountable. There are no attributions on cyber domain, people. Therefore, my conflict resolutions for this issue on cyber domain is as follows. We need to start a cyber vigilant program in the elementary school level to teach the kids online code of conduct and report wrongdoings to the authority. There should also be new policy that requires all internet users to use certified antivirus programs and their certified firewall program to make sure people are protected while surfing on the net. It's like wearing your cyber seatbelt while driving on the cyber domain. Makes sense, right? And the IP addresses, to me, that's like your license plate, should be reorganized and issued by government only to anyone that wants to use their internet, because IP addresses are like your license plate, like I said. To apply for it, you need 2 federal identifications, social security number, or something equivalent internationally. And lastly, your home address. After that, you will issue your IP address numbers or user ID and passwords to have an easier time to log on to the internet anywhere you go, on landline or Wi-Fi. Excuse me. Unified IP address monitor program is like our camera that captures the moment of accidents, and it serves the purpose along with catching forged IP addresses or lost/stolen IP addresses. With the programs and policy I mentioned above, I just talked about, it should help greatly with cyber deterrence program nationally and internationally. Thank you all for listening, and if you like my speech and you're interested about my research, please feel free to pick up a copy of my paper on the table by the exit on your way out. Thank you guys, and have a good night.